Dad texted, "I disown you. Talk to my lawyer." I replied, "Okay." Then exposed his $85,000 fund theft revenge. The text that shattered a family. Some betrayals stabbed the heart. Others stabbed the future. This one did both. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe. The twists in this story get insane. My father wasn't always a villain. He wasn't always the man who would steal from me, blame me, threaten me, and then try to erase me from his life with one text message. No. He used to be the guy who lifted me on his shoulders at the park. Who taught me how to ride a bike. Who told me, "You're my pride, my legacy, my firstborn son." But the man he became? The man in my phone on the day everything exploded? That man didn't sound like a father. He sounded like a criminal trying to escape consequences. The text message. It arrived at 7:03 a.m. I was brushing my teeth, half awake, getting ready for a long day of double shifts. My phone buzzed. A single notification. From Dad. I expected a "good morning," or perhaps one of his typical guilt-tripping paragraphs about how I never visit anymore. But instead, I saw this. "I disown you. Do not contact me again. Talk to my lawyer." I froze. My toothbrush clattered into the sink. I read it again. And again. And again. Disown me? Talk to his lawyer? For what? I hadn't spoken to him in 3 days. Nothing dramatic had happened. No arguments. No fights. Just silence. But my father didn't do silence. He did power moves. Manipulation. Shock value. And this? This was nuclear. The denial. My phone buzzed again. My younger sister, Elena. "WTF did you do?" I blinked. "What?" "Nothing." "Why?" She replied instantly. "Dad is raging. Says you betrayed him. He's telling everyone you stole $85,000 from him." My heart crashed into my stomach. $85,000. Me steal from him? I saw red. Bright. Blinding. Rage. Because he was lying. And I knew exactly why he was lying. The money was mine. 2 years ago, I started working relentlessly. Double shifts, freelancing, late-night weekend jobs. Saving every dime for my future. A master's degree. A business plan. A down payment. I told no one except one person. My mother. She was the only one I trusted. The only one who knew. I had managed to save $85,412 over 2 years. Then she passed away. And the bank account with my savings? She added my father as a backup signer. Because family should trust each other. 6 months later. The account balance dropped to $214. Not $85,214. $214. My father stole everything. Every last dollar. And when I confronted him, he said, "Your mother wanted me to use that money responsibly. You're too young to manage that amount." I told him I'd take legal action. He laughed. And now? Now he was trying to flip the script. He stole from me. And was now telling everyone. I stole from him. Classic narcissist move. The context no one knew. My father had been drowning in debt for years. Gambling. Bad business deals. Poor investments. Loans he refused to tell anyone about. My mother always covered for him. She lied to protect his pride. She hid the bank letters. She begged him to change. The moment she died, he spiraled. And he saw my savings as an easy bailout. To him, I wasn't a son. I was an ATM. When I finally stood up for myself, he panicked. He didn't want the family to know. He stole from his dead wife's child. So he turned the narrative around. Before I could speak, he tried to destroy me. Before I could expose him. And that text, that was the final blow to silence me. But he forgot something. A very important something. I had receipts. Literal receipts. Bank statements. Withdrawal logs. Videos. Recordings. And a digital trail that led straight to him. My reply, the one that started everything. My father disowned me. He told me to talk to his lawyer. He thought he won. He thought I'd panic. He thought I'd stay silent. But I simply typed back. Okay. One word. One word that made him think he had destroyed me. One word that made him smug. Confident. Victorious. One word that made him believe I was backing down. He didn't know. I was already planning his downfall. The beginning of revenge. I didn't call his lawyer. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself to the relatives. Already buzzing with gossip. No. I took the day off work. Sat at my desk. Opened my laptop. Then I did 3 things. 1. I pulled all bank statements from the past 2 years. Every deposit. Every withdrawal. Every signature. My father's name. And his greedy fingerprints were all over them. 2. I downloaded screenshots of every text he ever sent. Where he admitted to using my savings. Where he mocked me for whining about money. Where he said, "Your mother would want me to handle it." 3. I opened my mother's old voicemail folder. And there it was. The voicemail I forgot existed. Her voice. Soft. Calm. Ill. Saying, "Sweetheart, I added your father as a temporary signer. Only so you don't lose access. That money is for you. Not him. Promise me you'll protect it." My throat closed. My hands shook. But my resolve hardened. Into something sharp and unbreakable. He didn't just steal from me. He stole from her. And that was unforgivable. What I did next. I gathered all my evidence. And composed a single email. To his siblings. To my cousins. To the family group. To the people he bragged to. About being a great father. And most importantly, to the lawyer he told me to contact. Subject line. Regarding his claim of theft, here's the truth. I attached everything. Bank statements. Signatures. Voicemails. Screenshots. Receipts he didn't know existed. I hit send. And sat back. My father wanted a war. He had no idea how prepared I was to fight. And that email? It didn't just expose him. It triggered something much, much bigger. A chain reaction. That would destroy the image he spent decades building. The man who disowned me was about to watch his entire world collapse around him. The family firestorm. When lies collide with proof, the liar always burns first. Don't forget to subscribe. The twists in this story only get wilder from here. I expected silence. I expected a slow burn. I expected relatives quietly screenshotting my email, then whispering behind my back. But I was wrong. The firestorm began 9 minutes after my email hit the family inbox. 9 minutes. That's how long it took For my father's carefully constructed image to crack like cheap glass. The first email response, Aunt Marlene. A notification popped up. From Aunt Marlene. Subject, oh my God. I opened it. Her response was only 5 words. Tell me this isn't true. Not accusing. Not defensive. Not attacking. Shocked. Hurt. My fingers hovered above the keyboard. I wrote back. Every document is real. Every signature is his. Every voicemail is from Mom. She didn't reply. The second response, Uncle Ray. 5 minutes later. Subject, I knew something was wrong with him. His message was longer. Ray had always been the skeptic. The one who saw through the polished image. My father sold to everyone. The email said. He came to me last year asking to borrow money. Told me he was behind on bills. Said he'd figure something out. Now I know what he meant. I exhaled slowly. This wasn't just theft anymore. It was a pattern. A trail of debt. Of desperation. Of lies. And now the whole family was seeing it. The third response, his lawyer. This one arrived right after. A short, cold message. Please provide contact information for discussion regarding your evidence. We need to speak at your earliest convenience. My stomach twisted. His own lawyer already suspected him. That told me everything I needed to know. The call I didn't expect. Then my phone rang. Not Elena. Not a cousin. Not a relative. Dad. His name lighting up my screen. Felt like a punch to the chest. I let it ring. He called again. And again. And again. 5 missed calls. Then came the voicemail. His voice wasn't angry or powerful. Like it had been in his text. No. It was panicked. Shaking. Unmasked. Listen. I don't know what you think you're doing. But you need to stop. Right now. Take it back. Delete it. Tell everyone it was a misunderstanding. A long pause. You're making a fool out of me. I'm your father. Fathers make mistakes. You don't betray them over one mistake. Another pause. Please. Call me. I almost laughed. One mistake. One. He stole $85,412. Of the money I worked for. Bled for. Sacrificed my youth for. And he wanted me. To clean up his mess. Not today. The group chat detonates. I don't know who did it. Maybe Aunt Clara. Or Cousin Dominic. But someone took my email. And dumped it. Into the big family group chat. The one with 32 relatives. The one where he always bragged. About being the responsible provider. My phone blew up. Notifications exploded like fireworks. Is this true? Please tell me he didn't steal from his own child. I can't believe this. Your mother would be devastated. I always thought he was hiding something. He said you stole the money. We want your side. And then. His message appeared. Dad. He is lying. All of this is fake. The documents are doctored. I felt a dark calm settle over me. The denial stage. Of course. But then Elena responded. My quiet, shy, soft-hearted sister. Who rarely spoke up. Against anyone. Elena. Dad, stop. I saw you make the withdrawals. I was with you at the bank twice. Silence. The whole chat went dead. I stared at the screen. I hadn't known that. She had been there. She had watched him do it. Another message from her. You told the bank teller. Mom agreed to transfer the money. Before she died. My chest tightened. He used my dead mother as his excuse? Another message. And you told me not to tell him. Because he'd overreact. And there it was. The final nail in his grave. My father replied. Elena, stop making trouble. You're confused. She responded immediately. I'm not confused. You stole it. Boom. He wrote. I am your father. She wrote. Then act like one. I covered my mouth with my hand. My eyes burning. My little sister, who he had manipulated for years, finally broke free. And she wasn't done. You disowned the wrong child. I had to sit down. Because this was bigger than revenge. This was liberation. The family turns against him. More messages poured in. Aunt Linda. Unbelievable. I'm ashamed of you. Uncle Ray. You stole from your own son? Grow up, man. Cousin Jess. He worked hard for that money. You had no right. Grandma. Call me immediately. We are discussing this in person. Whenever Grandma typed in caps, everyone knew hell was coming. Dad tried to fight back. Dad. You all need to shut up. And let me explain, asterisk asterisk. Uncle Marco. Explain with what? Fake excuses? You were caught. Aunt Marlene. You told us he stole from you. Dad. He did. Elena. No, he didn't. I'm done lying for you. The chat exploded again. He tried to save himself by guilt-tripping. Dad. You're ruining this family. Over money? I responded for the first time. You ruined it the moment. You stole from your own child. And then blamed him. To save yourself. He left the chat. Literally left the chat. He ran. Because he finally realized that everyone now knew. And it was all because I replied. Okay. The call that changed everything. At 4:19 p.m. My phone rang again. Not Dad. His lawyer. I answered. Hello? The lawyer sighed heavily. Your father has not been honest with me. I said nothing. We need to meet. You, me, and possibly law enforcement. My pulse spiked. Law enforcement? Yes, the lawyer said quietly. You might need to file an official complaint. To protect yourself. From the accusations he already spread. I exhaled. My father tried to destroy me legally. Now I had to protect myself. Legally. The lawyer continued. I've reviewed the attachments you sent. If these documents are legitimate. They are, I said sharply. Then your father may face consequences. Much more serious than you realize. I swallowed hard. What kind of consequences? He replied. Depending on intent. Felony level theft. My breath stopped. Felony. My father. The man who disowned me. With a text message. Was about to face real consequences. And the best part? I didn't even plan revenge. I only told the truth. And the truth was enough to burn his empire down. The lawyer, the ledger, and the lie that started it all. Money isn't always stolen out of greed. Sometimes it's stolen out of desperation. And sometimes it's stolen out of entitlement. Hit subscribe, the next twist is going to shake your viewers. I met the lawyer the next morning at his downtown office. Tall building. Cold marble floors. A receptionist who smiled too politely. Everything smelled like expensive cologne. And lawsuits waiting to happen. When the lawyer walked in, he looked nothing like the smiling man I used to see, standing beside my father at barbecues. Gone was the friendliness. Gone was the warmth. His expression was tight. Concerned. Professional. "Come in," he said. "We have a lot to discuss." The meeting begins. We sat at a long conference table. He placed 2 thick folders in front of me. One labeled bank documents. The other, client history. My heart thumped hard in my chest. He folded his hands. "Your father is claiming you hacked his account and moved the money." I almost choked. Hacked? He stole it. "That's why I called you," the lawyer said. "Your evidence says one thing. His story says another." I needed to determine who was lying. I met his eyes with a cold stare. "And now you know." He nodded slowly. "I do." He opened the first folder. The evidence pile. Every page he flipped was another strike against my father. Withdrawals at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday, when I was clocked into work. Signature comparisons showing my father's handwriting, not mine. Timestamps. Location logs. Security camera records. Bank teller notes. Digital authorization codes. All connecting back to him. He laid them all out on the table, like a crime scene. Then he placed 2 more documents on top. Summaries. My father had withdrawn $30,000 on March 10th, $20,000 on April 14th, $25,000 on May 3rd, $10,000 the week after. All from the account in my name. All without my permission. I felt my jaw tighten. The lawyer tapped the top page. In total, $85,412. Every dollar traced to your father. I swallowed a lump in my throat. Seeing the theft in black and white felt like a punch to the lungs. The lawyer's question. He cleared his throat. "Do you want to press charges?" My blood ran cold. Legal consequences. Felony charges. Courtrooms. A criminal record. From my father. I didn't answer right away. Not because I doubted my right to justice. I doubted who I would become if I pulled the trigger. The lawyer watched me quietly. "You don't have to decide today," he said gently. I nodded. But inside, a darker thought whispered. Pressing charges might not be revenge. It might be justice. The second folder, the one that changed everything. "Now," the lawyer said, "there's something else you should see." He opened the folder labeled Client History. Inside were documents I had no idea existed. Debts. Loans. Eviction warnings. Gambling losses. A credit score so low it would embarrass a teenager. Then the lawyer placed a final document on the table. A ledger. My father kept a secret ledger. The lawyer's warning. The lawyer leaned forward. "Your father is unstable right now. He's angry. And he's scared." "Scared?" I asked. "Yes," the lawyer said. "He knows this could destroy him. His reputation. His credit. His relationships." He paused. "And his freedom." A chill ran down my spine. "Your father is going to lash out," the lawyer continued. "He will try to shift blame. To manipulate people. To paint himself as the victim." My jaw tightened. "He already did." The lawyer nodded. "Yes. And he will do worse. So I need you to prepare yourself." "For what?" I whispered. He exhaled heavily. "For the fact that he is going to attack you publicly before he goes down privately. I swallowed. Because that was exactly the kind of move my father would make. Destroy me. Before anyone could destroy him. The lawyer closed both folders. I'll file an official statement documenting your evidence, he said. Once that's done, you'll have legal protection from any accusations he spreads. I nodded. My hands were still shaking. And what about my money? I whispered. He looked at me with sympathy. That depends, he said. If he spent it all, it will be very difficult to recover. I felt my throat close. All my work. All my savings. All those nights I pushed myself to exhaustion. Gone. Because of him. But then the lawyer's tone changed. But there is one thing, he added. A leverage you have. That he doesn't know about. I looked up sharply. What leverage? He slid the ledger closer to me. This, he said. This ledger is full of information. He never wanted anyone to see. I frowned. What kind of information? The lawyer leaned back. Multiple undeclared income sources. Illegal transfers. Loan sharks. High-interest gambling debts. A second secret account. He even owes money to someone. You absolutely do not want to mess with. My stomach dropped. And guess who's listed as his emergency source of funds? On almost every page. I didn't breathe. The lawyer tapped the ledger. You. Everything clicked. He didn't disown me. Because he hated me. He disowned me. Because I refused to be his safety net anymore. Because in his mind, I existed to save him, to fix him, to fund him, to sacrifice for him. And when I stopped, he tried to erase me. Before I exposed him, my father wasn't terrified of losing me. He was terrified of losing control of me. And now, he had. The day my father lost control. A man who builds his power on fear always collapses the moment fear no longer works. Hit subscribe, because what happens in this chapter is the turning point your viewers live for. I left the lawyer's office with 2 folders. 1,000 emotions. And one undeniable truth. My father didn't just steal from me. He built an entire fantasy where I existed to serve him. And now that the fantasy was breaking, he was going to lash out. The lawyer's final warning echoed in my mind. Prepare yourself. He's going to attack you. Before he goes down. I wasn't afraid. But I was ready. The drive home. On the way home. My phone buzzed non-stop. Voicemails. Texts. Missed calls. All from him. I ignored everyone. Because the old version of me. The obedient son. The peacemaker. The boy who swallowed pain. Was gone. I parked outside the house. His car was already in the driveway. He was waiting. Of course he was. I walked inside. And found him standing in the living room. Hands shaking. Face flushed red with anger. He looked like a storm that knew it was finally about to be defeated. The confrontation begins. There you are, he snapped. Sit down. No. His face twitched. No, he echoed. No, I repeated. You lost the privilege of giving me orders. When you stole my future. His jaw clenched. You think you're smart, don't you? Sending that email. Humiliating me. Trying to turn the family against me. You turned them against yourself. Bullshit, he roared. You're a liar just like your mother. My blood boiled. Don't talk about Mom, I said quietly. He smirked. Why? Because she coddled you? Because she made you think you were special? I stepped closer. Because she trusted you. And you robbed her child. Before she was even cold in the ground. His expression faltered. Just for a moment. Then he pointed a shaking finger at me. I am your father. No, I said coldly. You're a thief. He lunged forward, grabbing the front of my shirt. Say that again, he snarled. I stared straight into his eyes. You are a thief. He pushed me backward. Hard. But I didn't fall. Not this time. Not ever again. I steadied myself. You're done intimidating me, I said. That version of me is dead. He laughed bitterly. You think you're brave now? Because you sent a couple emails? Because my idiot siblings believe you? I lifted the folders from my side. No. Because I have proof. He froze. The folders hit the table. I dropped the folders onto the dining table. With a loud, echoing slap. Bank records. Loan documents. Debt statements. The ledger. His ledger. His face drained of color. What is that? This, I said, is everything you've been hiding. Your debts. Your gambling losses. The loans you never paid back. The secret account. The transfers you made from my savings. He staggered backward a step. My voice remained calm. You didn't steal from me. Because you needed it. I opened the ledger. And you didn't steal it. Because you panicked. I tapped the page with his writing. You stole it. Because you always believed. You were entitled to whatever I earned. He stuttered. You broke into my personal documents. I didn't break into anything. Your lawyer gave them to me. His eyes widened in horror. A lawyer? Yes, I said calmly. He's no longer covering for you. His breathing became ragged. And you know what he told me? I asked. That you planned this. That you told him you deserved the money. More than I did. He swallowed. Those were private conversations. No, I said. Those were confessions. His mask finally cracked. He looked small. Cornered. Exposed. But instead of apologizing, he exploded. The meltdown of a man who lost control. You think you're better than me, he screamed. You think you're so righteous? So innocent? He slammed his hand on the table. That money. Your money. Would have been nothing without me. I barked out a bitter laugh. You didn't earn a cent of it. I did. He shook his head violently. I raised you. Fed you. Put a roof over your head. That doesn't give you the right to steal from me. He roared. I own you. And there it was. The truth he never meant to say out loud. The truth that had been hiding behind every guilt trip. Every manipulation. Every, I'm your father so you owe me. He believed I was his property. His asset. His fallback. His safety net. And without warning, he burst into tears. Ugly. Frustrated. Self-pitying tears. Not the tears of a man who regretted what he did. The tears of a man angry that he finally got caught. He collapsed onto the couch. Head in his hands. You ruined everything, he sobbed. My reputation. My family. My future. I stood still. You ruined it, I said softly. He lifted his head. You're supposed to protect me, he whispered. No, I said. That's what a parent does for a child. Not the other way around. His face contorted. He looked lost. Desperate. Shaking. Help me, he whispered. Please. I can't do this alone. I let the silence stretch. Then I said. You should have thought about that. Before you disowned me. He froze. His breathing hitched. And then something unexpected happened. My younger sister, Elena, stepped into the doorway. She had been listening. Her face was pale. Eyes red from crying. She walked straight toward me. And stood at my side. Together. For the first time. She looked at him. Our father. The man who shaped our childhood. With fear and manipulation. And she said. We're done saving you. He stared at her in disbelief. Elena. You too? She nodded. You disowned him. So you disowned me too. We come together or not at all. He collapsed again. Shaking. Begging. Both of you. Please. Don't do this. But she shook her head. We didn't do anything, she said. You did. The final word. I picked up the folders. Dad, I said quietly. You need to get a lawyer. A good one. He looked up. You're pressing charges? I shook my head. Not yet. His eyes flickered with hope. But I will, I added. If you ever try to blame me again. Or contact relatives with another lie. Or try to use my name to fix your financial mess. He stiffened. This isn't over. Yes, I said. It is. I turned and walked away. Elena followed. Behind us. The man who once called himself our father collapsed into silence. The same silence he thought would break us. Instead, it broke him. The world he built turned on him. A liar without an audience becomes nothing at all. Before reading further, subscribe. This section is pure cinematic revenge. The day after the confrontation, the house felt haunted. Silent. Cold. Uncomfortable. My father didn't leave his room. Didn't shout. Didn't storm around. He stayed behind a closed door. Like a criminal hiding in a cave. Meanwhile, the outside world was already shifting. Because the family group chat? That wasn't the only place the truth leaked. By midday, my father's reputation was collapsing. In the one place he cared about most. His community. The first sign of fallout. It started with a single text from cousin Jess. Bro, did you see the neighborhood Facebook group? I didn't even know what she meant. Until she sent a screenshot. There, in the neighborhood forum. My father lived in. The place where he bragged constantly. About being a responsible father. A hard worker. A good man. Was a post titled. Anyone else hear about Charles stealing $85,000 from his own son? My jaw dropped. Dozens of comments followed. I heard he drained the savings. That's disgusting. Always thought he was a bit full of himself. Poor kid. Man said his son stole from him, liar. The post was exploding. My father's perfect mask. The one he wore for years. Was slipping in the one place he couldn't control. Elena bursts in. Around 11 a.m. The front door slammed open. And Elena ran into the living room. Her face was pale. Her hands trembling. Look, she said, showing me her phone. Dad's church group had posted a long message. We pray for Charles as he struggles with personal choices that have harmed his own children. God sees the truth. Someone had exposed him there too. His own words. His own claim that I stole from him were now being called out as lies. Another message appeared. He stole from his son. Unbelievable. My father's biggest identity was being admired. Now, he was being dissected. And the more he tried to deny, the harder the truth slammed him in the face. The phone call he couldn't stop. At noon, our grandmother called. Not my grandmother. His mother. The woman he feared most. We could hear her screaming through the phone. Even from across the hallway. You stole from your own child? I didn't raise you like this. How dare you disgrace this family? You used your wife's death? Her death? You lied about him stealing from you? It was brutal. He tried to defend himself. He tried to shout back. He tried to twist it into a misunderstanding. But she wasn't having it. Grandma ended the call with, "You will not speak to me again until you fix what you've done to those children." Dad didn't scream after the call. He didn't slam the wall. He didn't come storming out. He stayed in the room. Like a wounded animal. Because the one person whose approval he craved had rejected him. The job falls apart. At around 3 p.m. his work called. I saw his phone vibrating on the kitchen table. And watched him rush out, grab it. And answer with a shaky voice. "And Mr. Jennings?" "Sir, this isn't what it looks like." No. No, that's misinformation. My son is lying. I would never. But then he froze. Completely. His shoulders slumped. And he whispered, "Please, don't do this. It was a misunderstanding. I'll fix it. Please don't suspend me." He listened in silence. For almost a full minute. Then. "Yes. I understand. I will cooperate. Yes. I'll come in Monday. Please don't fire me." His voice broke on the last line. He hung up slowly. Then he punched the wall. Hard. Not out of anger at them. He was angry because he finally lost control. The desperate move. At 5 p.m. he tried to rebuild that control. By blaming me. Again. He burst into the living room. "You need to call them," he demanded. "All of them. Tell them you misunderstood. Tell them I borrowed it." I didn't blink. No. He blinked. He wasn't used to that word. "What did you say?" "No," I repeated. His voice cracked. "You ruined my life." I stepped closer. "No," I said. "You ruined mine. And Mom's last wish. And Elena's trust. And your own future." He shook, trembling. "You want to destroy me. You destroyed yourself." He gripped my arm. "Help me fix this." I pulled away. "You didn't think I deserved help when you stole my future." He exhaled, shaking, desperate. "You don't understand. I needed the money. Then you should have gotten a job. Not stolen from your kid." That's when he snapped. He exploded. "You heartless little." I cut him off. "Dad, you're not the victim." He went still. Like he finally realized. He couldn't scare me anymore. Like he finally understood. The manipulation. The guilt. The intimidation. They were dead. He had no power left. He opened his mouth to yell again. But then the doorbell rang. We both froze. Elena peeked out the window. You need to see this." We stepped outside. And there, standing on our porch, arms crossed, faces full of fury, were Aunt Marlene, Uncle Ray, Uncle Marco, Aunt Linda, and Grandma. 5 people. All ready. All united. All looking directly at him. My father's face went white. What are you all doing here? Grandma stepped forward. Her voice ice cold. We're here to talk about what you did. He stuttered. This. It's not what. Save it, Uncle Ray snapped. We're not here for lies. Aunt Linda held up a folder. My email. His ledger. My mother's voicemail. Everything. This, she said, is unforgivable. He stumbled backward. Like he wanted to run. Like he wanted to disappear. Grandma spoke again. And until you pay back every dollar you stole. And apologize to your children. You are no son of mine. You could hear a pin drop. My father's world had burned. All day long. But this was the moment. The ashes settled. This was the moment. He realized. Everyone finally saw him. Everyone finally knew. Everyone finally turned against him. And I didn't have to lift a finger. It wasn't revenge. Not yet. This was just the beginning. The consequences he couldn't escape. Revenge isn't always the moment you hit back. Sometimes it's the moment you finally walk away clean. While the person who hurt you sinks under their own weight. Don't forget to subscribe, this ending hits hard. My father was cornered. By truth. By evidence. By the family he lied to. By the world he tried so desperately to impress. And as everyone stood on our porch staring him down, he looked like a man watching his entire life crumble. His voice trembled. Mom, please, don't do this. You know me. You know me. Grandma crossed her arms. I know what you used to be. Not what you've become. He swallowed hard. I can fix this. No, she said sharply. You can't fix what you refuse to admit. He sagged against the doorway, defeated. As she continued. You stole from your own son. You lied to this family. And you dishonored your wife's memory. Her voice cracked at the last part. For the first time all day. My father looked ashamed. But shame wasn't enough. Not anymore. The payment plan, and the consequence. Grandma turned to me. Sweetheart, she said softly. How much did he take? $85 for 12, I said. She nodded once, firmly. You'll get that back. My father looked up sharply. What? How? I don't have. That's your problem, Ray snapped. We're setting a repayment plan, Aunt Linda said. All of us will have a copy. If you miss even one payment, we take legal action, Uncle Marco finished. My father froze. He knew they meant it. He knew I meant it. He knew everyone meant it. He tried to speak. But Grandma silenced him with a look. You will pay your son back, she said. Every penny. He swallowed hard. I can't do that. Grandma didn't blink. Then you go to jail. Silence. Pure. Crushing. Silence. My father's face crumpled. I'll try. No, Grandma corrected. You will do it. Or someone else will handle this. She motioned toward the folder I held. The lawyer's documents. My father sat down heavily. He wasn't in control anymore. He wasn't the authority. He wasn't the feared voice. He was a man facing consequences. For the first time in his life. Elena's final words to him. Elena stepped forward slowly. He looked up at her with desperate eyes. Elena. Baby girl. You don't believe them, do you? She didn't flinch. I do. His voice cracked. You're my daughter. You were, she said. But you weren't a father. His eyes filled with tears. Elena. Please. She shook her head. You stole from your own son. You used Mom's death. You lied to everyone. And you made me lie too. Her voice broke. I'm done protecting you. She turned and walked to my side. And that was the moment. My father finally broke. Not because of the money. Not because of the exposure. Not because of the family turning against him. He broke because the last person who would have defended him chose truth instead. He wasn't just losing money. He was losing the identities he had carefully constructed. Good father. Responsible man. Family provider. Community example. All gone. Because they were never real. The repayment agreement. In the next 30 minutes. My uncles drafted a legally binding document. Right at the dining table. My father had to. Heavy checkmark pay me $2,000 a month minimum. Heavy checkmark pay interest if he missed a deadline. Heavy checkmark never accuse me publicly again. Heavy checkmark never contact me except through written agreement. Heavy checkmark attend debt counseling. Heavy checkmark provide proof of payment each month. If he defaulted? Heavy checkmark automatic legal case filed. Heavy checkmark his ledger would be submitted to authorities. Heavy checkmark his secret accounts revealed. Heavy checkmark his bankruptcy attempt suspended for fraud. In other words, he wasn't getting out of this. Not with lies. Not with manipulation. Not with, I'm your father. This was accountability. At last. He signed the document. With a trembling hand. As the pen hit the final line. I felt something symbolic. Like chains falling off. Invisible ones. I had carried since childhood. The goodbye. After everything was signed. My father looked at me. Really looked at me. For the first time. Not as someone he controlled. But as someone who had outgrown him. I never meant to hurt you, he whispered. I met his eyes. You didn't care if you did. He flinched. Elena added. We're not your backup plan. And for the first time in years. He didn't have a comeback. He just sat there. Small. Exposed. Alone. We walked outside as the family left. Aunt Marlene hugged me tight. I'm proud of you, she whispered. Your mother would be too. Ray put a hand on my shoulder. You didn't ruin anything. You saved us from enabling him. Grandma held my face in her hands. You are not your father's mistakes, she said. And you never will be. I swallowed hard. For the first time in years. I felt seen. Rebuilding, my real revenge. Over the next months. I made changes. Big ones. 1, I moved out. Elena came with me. We found a small 2-bedroom apartment. That felt like freedom. And peace. And silence without fear. 2, I went back to school. The way Mom wanted. Using scholarships. And part-time work. Until the money started coming back in. 3, I entered therapy. Years of manipulation. Don't disappear overnight. 4, I watched my father repay me. Month after month. Not because he wanted to. But because he had to. Because he knew we'd take him to court. 5, I rebuilt the future he tried to steal. Brick by brick. Step by step. The final message from him. 9 months after the fallout. I received a text. Not an order. Not a threat. Not an accusation. Just 4 words. I'm sorry. Eventually. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I deleted the message. Not out of anger. Out of peace. He didn't need to say sorry. For me to move on. I'd already done the hardest part. I chose myself. The real revenge. Revenge wasn't destroying him. Revenge was realizing. I didn't fear him anymore. Revenge was taking back. My future. My savings. My voice. My life. Revenge was watching the world see him. For who he really was. While I rebuilt myself. Into someone stronger. Revenge was simple. I healed. He faced consequences. The truth lived on, ***. And that's the ending. He never saw coming.